Hello everyone, and welcome to the Saiyan What Ifs. So we are back with an interesting movie on what if Goku was the reincarnated Saiyan god who mastered all. See Reation Goku x Shuna x Videl. That time I got reincarnated as a slime x Dragon Ball. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. Chapter 1. Divine Convergence. The universe shattered with a sound beyond hearing. Goku felt it first as a tremor in his bones while training alone in the gravity chamber. The familiar red glow of intensified gravity flickered, then vanished entirely. Gravity itself seemed to hesitate, as if the fundamental forces of reality had momentarily forgotten their purpose. His body, accustomed to 300 times Earth's normal pull, suddenly floated weightless. "What the?" he began, but the words died in his throat as golden light erupted from his palms. This wasn't ki, not the familiar energy he'd mastered over decades of combat. This was something ancient, something that felt simultaneously foreign and intimately familiar, like a childhood memory long buried. The golden energy spiraled around his fingers, not destructive but generative, leaving microscopic patterns of creation in its wake. The gravity chamber walls dissolved like mist, revealing not the familiar landscape of Capsule Corporation but an impossible tableau. Mountains he recognized from Mount Paozu now bordered an iridescent forest that pulsed with magical energy. The sky above had fractured into sections, some the familiar blue of Earth, others painted in otherworldly purples and emerald greens. A voice he didn't recognize echoed in his mind. "Remember who you were before time began." Pain lanced through Goku's temples as forgotten memories assaulted his consciousness, memories that couldn't possibly be his. A golden throne overlooking primordial creation. Hands shaping stars like clay. A civilization of warriors with tales and pride, looking to him not as a fighter but as their deity. Goku fell to his knees, clutching his head. "I'm Son Goku," he insisted to the empty air, fighting against the foreign memories. "I'm a Saiyan raised on Earth. I'm not." But what was he denying? The golden energy continued flowing unbidden from his hands, responding to his distress by unconsciously reshaping reality around him. In the distance, beyond the impossible treeline, an explosion rocked the merged landscape. Instinct overrode confusion. Whatever cosmic crisis was unfolding, people were in danger. Goku placed 2 fingers to his forehead, seeking a familiar energy signature to lock onto for instant transmission. Instead, he felt everything. Every life force across 2 colliding universes suddenly blazed in his consciousness, billions upon billions of beings, some familiar, many utterly alien. The sensory overload drove him back to his knees. How could he possibly sort through this cosmic cacophony? "Focus on what matters most," came that same unknown voice. Goku closed his eyes, filtering out the overwhelming cosmic noise until he found what he sought, the warm, steady signatures of his friends and family. Vegeta's fierce flame burned nearby, while Gohan's measured power pulsed from a greater distance. But there were others too, powers unlike anything he'd encountered before. Beings of concentrated magical energy rather than ki, their signatures tasting of elements and ancient pacts rather than life force. Locking onto the epicenter of destruction, Goku vanished. He materialized in chaos. What had once been West City now existed in impossible fusion with a landscape of medieval architecture and magical technology. Buildings of concrete and glass intertwined with structures of enchanted wood and stone, their foundations warping as reality struggled to reconcile incompatible worlds. The explosion had originated from this convergence point, where physical laws conflicted violently. People ran screaming. Humans in modern clothing alongside beings Goku had never encountered. Blue-skinned ogres, diminutive goblins, and entities composed of elemental energy. Above them all, a rift in space-time spewed destructive energy that disintegrated everything it touched. Without thinking, Goku thrust his hands upward. Ki energy gathered instinctively, but something else flowed alongside it, that same golden creation energy. As he prepared to launch a counterattack against the rift, the energies merged within him, transforming from destructive force to something new. "This isn't working," he heard Vegeta shout from somewhere nearby. The Saiyan prince was blasting away debris that threatened to crush civilians, his face contorted with uncharacteristic confusion. "Kakarot, what the hell is happening?" "I don't know," Goku called back, still struggling with the unfamiliar energy coursing through him. But I think I can close that thing. Acting on instinct rather than knowledge, Goku released the hybrid energy toward the rift. Instead of the expected Kamehameha, golden threads erupted from his palms, weaving themselves into the fabric of reality. The threads entangled the rift, pulling its edges together like a cosmic suture. Where destruction had reigned, creation now flourished, the golden energy sealing the wound in Ace time while simultaneously reinforcing the merged reality around it. The effort drained him in ways combat never had. This wasn't expenditure of ki but something deeper, as if he were using pieces of his very soul to mend reality. When the rift finally sealed with a thunderclap of displaced air, Goku dropped to one knee, gasping. "How did you do that?" Vegeta demanded, landing beside him. The prince's armor was cracked, his expression wavering between suspicion and reluctant awe. "That wasn't Saiyan power." "I don't know," Goku admitted, staring at his hands where traces of golden energy still sparked between his fingers. "It just came to me. Like I'd done it before." Before Vegeta could respond, a new voice interrupted, melodious and formal, with an accent Goku had never heard before. "You bear the aura of divinity," said the woman who approached them. "Creation energy. I never thought I'd witness it firsthand." She was striking, pink hair flowing past elegant pointed ears, dressed in an elaborate kimono of silk and gold thread. Her movement was graceful despite the destruction surrounding them, and though she carried no visible weapon, Goku sensed significant magical power contained within her slender form. "Who are you?" Vegeta demanded, stepping protectively in front of Goku, who was still recovering. "I am Shuna of Tempest, sister to the great demon Lord Rimuru Tempest," she answered with a formal bow. "And you stand at the convergence point of worlds that should never have met." Her eyes, wise beyond her apparent years, fixed on Goku. "Yet you wielded creation energy to stabilize it. Only divine beings possess such capability." Goku managed to stand, though the effort left him dizzy. "I'm just Son Goku," he insisted, but even as he spoke, another fragment of foreign memory flashed through his mind. Standing before an assembly of golden-furred Saiyans, their reverent eyes fixed upon him as he shaped a planet with merely a thought. Shuna's expression softened. "The merging of our worlds has awakened something dormant within you," she observed. "You don't remember yet, do you?" "Remember what?" Vegeta interjected impatiently. "What he once was," Shuna replied simply. She extended a hand toward Goku, palm glowing with intricate magical sigils. "May I possess healing magic that might help stabilize your energy." Goku nodded, too exhausted to refuse. Her palm pressed against his chest, and cool relief flowed through him, clearing the fog of confusion. The foreign memories receded, though they remained lurking at the edges of his consciousness. "Thanks," he managed, straightening. "But I still don't understand what's happening. Worlds merging. Divine energy. I'm just a Saiyan who." "Look out." Shuna's sudden LP a magical barrier as an other section of building collapsed toward them. Her magic flared emerald green, forming a translucent shield that deflected the debris. Goku reacted instantly, scooping Shuna into his arms and leaping clear as Vegeta blasted the remaining rubble to dust. The casual display of strength, carrying her while jumping 30 feet into the air, didn't seem to faze Shuna, whose concentration remained fixed on maintaining her barrier to protect civilians below. Landing safely atop a partially merged building, Goku set her down gently. "Nice barrier technique," he observed with characteristic friendliness despite the circumstances. "I've never seen magic like that before. And I've never seen beings channel energy as you do," she returned, studying him with scholarly interest. "In my world, magic operates through established rules and systems. You seem to wield pure energy through will alone." "Key manipulation," Goku explained, summoning a small ball of energy to his palm, careful to avoid strange golden power that had emerged earlier. "Most fighters in our world can learn it with proper training." Shuna reached toward the energy sphere, her expression curious. "May I?" When Goku nodded, she passed her hand through the key ball, her eyes widening as magical symbols automatically appeared around her fingers, analyzing the energy. "Fascinating," she whispered. "Life energy in its purest form. Without elemental alignment or magical structure. Our worlds operate on fundamentally different principles, yet here we stand, both real, both existing simultaneously. A sudden explosio. And from across the merged city drew their attention. Vegeta had already blasted off toward it, leaving a trail of blue energy. "We need to help the others," Goku said, his momentary scientific curiosity replaced by urgent concern. "Can you sense any of your people nearby? Friends or family who might need help?" Shuna closed her eyes, her magical senses extending outward. "Yes, many from Tempest ARE scattered throughout this convergence zone. My brother Benimaru is organizing evacuations to the north." Her eyes opened, revealing worry. "But I cannot sense Lord Rimuru anywhere. The dimensional disruption may be interfering with our connection. I can get us there faster," Goku offered, extending his hand. "I can teleport directly to energy signatures I can focus on." Shuna hesitated only a moment before placing her delicate hand in his calloused palm. "Your assistance would be most welcome, Son Goku." As his fingers closed around hers, another flash of foreign memory struck him, a different hand in his. Slender fingers intertwined with divine purpose as they shaped constellations together. The unexpected intimacy of the memory made him blink in confusion. "Are you well?" Shuna asked, noticing his momentary distraction. "Yeah," Goku said, shaking off the vision. "Just remembering things that never happened." He placed his fingers to his forehead, focusing on the cluster of unusual energy signatures to the north. "Hold on tight." They vanished, reappearing instantly amidst a makeshift evacuation center where beings from both worlds huddled together in confused alliance. A tall, red-haired man with horns protruding from his forehead was directing operations, his hands wreathed in flame as he issued commands to both humans and monsters. "Benimaru," Shuna called out, immediately releasing Goku's hand to rush to her brother. The Oni turned, visible relief crossing his stern features. "Lady Shuna." He embraced her briefly before his suspicious gaze fell on Goku. "Who is this?" "Another from the foreign world. This is Son Goku," Shuna explained. "He possesses the power to stabilize the convergence points. He saved many lives in the central district." Benimaru's expression remained guarded. "We've encountered others from his world. Warriors of considerable strength, though their energy differs from our magic." His eyes narrowed. "One calls himself the CE of all Saiyans and refuses to follow anyone's direction." "That sounds like Vegeta," Goku said with a small laugh. "Don't worry about him. His bark is worse than his bite. Usually, he destroyed an entire building when a goblin rider accidentally collided with him," Benimaru stated flatly. Goku winced. "Okay, maybe worry a little." Before the conversation could continue, a new tremor shook the ground. To the east, another rift was forming, smaller than the first but growing rapidly. The dimensional tear revealed glimpses of other realities, the familiar red skies of planet Vegeta, the swampy expanses of Namek, and landscapes Goku had never seen before. "It's happening again," Shuna whispered, her magical senses clearly detecting what was coming. Another convergence point forming. Goku's newfound awareness confirmed her assessment. The fabric between worlds was thinning, allowing realities to bleed into one another. Without intervention, another destructive collision was imminent. "I have to try closing it," he said, determination replacing confusion. Whatever these new powers were, however they had awakened within him, people needed his help. That simple truth overrode all questions of identity. "I'll accompany you," Shuna stated, her tone brooking no argument. "My analytical magic may help you understand what you're doing instinctively." Benimaru stepped forward protectively. "Lady Shuna, it's too dangerous. Every moment we debate, more of our people are at risk," she countered firmly. "I'm going, brother." The Oni commander clearly wanted to object further. But years of experience had taught him the futility of arguing with his determined sister. "Very well, but take this." He removed an enchanted communication crystal from his sash. "Call for reinforcements if needed." As Shuna accepted the crystal, Goku extended his hand once more. She took it without hesitation this time, and Goku focused on the forming rift, teleporting them directly to its perimeter. They materialized on a hilltop overlooking what had once been the outskirts of West City. Now the urban landscape had partially merged with an expansive, impossibly colored forest. The rift hovered above the convergence point, pulsing with chaotic energy as it slowly expanded. "It's beautiful," Shuna whispered, her analytical mind temporarily overcome by the awesome spectacle of worlds colliding. Terrible, but beautiful. Goku nodded in agreement. The destruction was devastating, yet there was undeniable majesty in witnessing creation itself being rewritten. He raised his hands toward the rift, attempting to summon the golden energy he'd channeled earlier. Nothing happened. Frowning, he tried again, pushing harder. Ki energy gathered readily, but the creative force remained elusive. I can't reach it, he admitted, frustration evident in his voice. That golden energy, it came naturally before, but now. Shuna studied him thoughtfully. The divine power responded to necessity earlier, to the threat against life. Perhaps it requires more than mere will to summon. What do you mean? In my world, the most powerful magic often responds to emotion rather than technique. What were you feeling when the power manifested? Goku considered this. Protective, he finally answered. People were in danger. I needed to save them. Then perhaps, Shuna began, but her words were cut short as the rift suddenly expanded with explosive force, sending a shockwave across the landscape. Instinctively, Goku wrapped his arms around Shuna, shielding her as the blast washed over them. The ground beneath their feet cracked, the hilltop beginning to collapse. As they started to fall, time seemed to slow. In that stretched moment, Goku saw faces in the distant city, families running, children crying. Beings from two worlds united in terror. Something shifted within him, a lock turning in a door he hadn't known existed. The golden energy erupted from every cell in his body, surrounding both him and Shuna in a cocoon of creative force. The collapsing hill reconstructed itself beneath them, earth and rock flowing like water before solidifying once more. His awareness expanded outward, touching the rift itself. He could see it now, not as a tear, but as incomplete creation, worlds reaching for each other across dimensional barriers never meant to be crossed. That's it, he whispered, understanding dawning. They're not being destroyed, they're trying to become something new. With Shuna still held protectively in one arm, Goku extended his free hand toward the rift. This time, the golden energy responded immediately, flowing outward in complex patterns that mirrored the natural structure of both universes. Instead of forcing the rift closed, he began guiding the convergence. Helping the worlds merge where they were compatible, creating buffers where they conflicted. Shuna gasped as she witnessed reality being rewritten. Her magical senses perceived what ordinary vision could not. The fundamental laws of two universes being carefully interwoven through Goku's intuitive manipulation of creation energy. You're not just closing the rift, she realized aloud. You're stabilizing the merger itself. Goku nodded, too focused for words. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he directed the golden threads with increasing precision. The effort taxed him beyond any battle he'd ever fought. This wasn't destruction, which came naturally to a warrior, but creation in its purest form. As the final threads connected, completing the localized merger, the rift collapsed in upon itself with a sound like a distant bell. The golden energy receded back into Goku, leaving him drained but exhilarated. He carefully set Shuna down on the now stable hilltop. That was, he began, searching for words. Divine, Shuna finished for him, her eyes wide with wonder. You shaped reality itself. She studied him with new understanding. In my world, only the most ancient and powerful beings possess such ability, those who exist beyond mere mortality. Goku ran a hand through his spiky hair, characteristically humbled despite the cosmic display of power. It felt right somehow, like I was remembering how to ride a bicycle after years of not trying. These visions you mentioned, Shuna said carefully. The memories that aren't yours. What do you see in them? Goku closed his eyes, allowing the foreign recollections to surface. A golden throne, stars being born, faces looking up at me with worship. He opened his eyes, discomfort evident. But that's not me. I've never wanted to be worshipped, just to test my limits, protect my friends, become stronger. Perhaps it was you in another life, Shuna suggested. A divine aspect reborn in mortal form. Before Goku could respond, a familiar energy signature approached rapidly from the south, Gohan, flying at top speed. His eldest son landed on the hilltop, relief visible on his face. Dad, we've been looking everywhere for you, Gohan exclaimed, adjusting his glasses. His scholarly attire was disheveled, evidence of his participation in rescue efforts. He glanced curiously at Shuna. "Oh, hello, I'm Gohan, Goku's son. This is Shuna," Goku introduced. "She's from the other world that's merging with ours. She's been helping me understand what's happening." Gohan's expression turned serious. "About that, we need you at Capsule Corp immediately. Bulma and some scientists from this other world are working together to analyze the phenomenon." And, he hesitated, Videl was caught in one of the convergence zones. "She's alive, but something's happened to her." Goku's heart sank. Videl was not only his daughter-in-law but a fighter he deeply respected for her determination. "Is she hurt?" "Not physically," Gohan said, his concern evident. "But she's changed somehow. Sensing energies she shouldn't be able to sense. Seeing things none of the rest of us can see." His gaze fell on the traces of golden energy still clinging to Goku's hands. "Dad, what's happening to you?" "I'm not entirely sure," Goku admitted. "But I think it's connected to everything else." He turned to Shuna. "Will you come with us? Your knowledge might help Bulma understand what's happening." Shuna nodded. "Of course. Our worlds are now irrevocably linked. Cooperation is our only path forward." She activated the communication crystal Benimaru had given her. "Brother, I'm going with Son Goku to their scientific facility. Continue the evacuation efforts. I'll send help as soon as possible." Benimaru's voice emerged from the crystal. Tense but resigned. "Understood. Be careful, sister." Goku placed a hand on Gohan's shoulder and extended the other to Shuna. "Everyone hold on. I'll get us there instantly." With a moment of concentration, the three vanished from the hilltop, reappearing in the chaos of Capsule Corporation's main laboratory. The massive space had been transformed into a crisis center, with dozens of screens displaying maps of the merged realities. Bulma stood at the center, directing operations while simultaneously arguing with a diminutive figure floating in a hovering chaw. A being with the appearance of a child but the aura of ancient wisdom. "The magical fluctuations cannot be stabilized with technology alone," the small being was insisting, his golden eyes flashing with frustration. "This convergence operates beyond physical laws. And I'm telling you that without understanding the quantum mechanics involved, your magical approach will..." Bulma broke off as she noticed the new arrivals. Goku. Thank goodness. All eyes turned to them, conversations halting as scientists from both worlds registered their presence. Goku noticed immediately how the newcomers, clearly from Shuna's world based on their varied non-human appearances, looked at her with reverence. "Lady Shuna," the diminutive being exclaimed, floating over to them. "You're unharmed." When the dimensional coordinates shifted, "We feared the worst." "I am well, Ramirez," Shuna assured him. "Thanks in large part to Son Goku's intervention." She gestured to the Saiyan beside her. "He possesses creation energy, divine power capable of stabilizing the convergence points." This announcement sent a wave of murmurs through the gathered scientists. Ramirez's eyes widened as he floated closer to Goku, studying him with unabashed curiosity. "Impossible," the tiny demon lord whispered. "Creation energy has been lost since the primordial age. Only true dragons and..." His voice trailed off as he stared more intently at Goku. "The ancient myths speak of a golden deity who shaped the first stars. A god who walked among mortals." Bulma approached, her scientific skepticism warring with years of experience witnessing the impossible. "Goku, what have you gotten yourself into this time?" Despite her exasperated tone, genuine concern showed in her eyes. "Honestly, Bulma, I'm not sure," Goku answered with characteristic directness. "One minute I was training, the next I was closing rifts between worlds with energy I didn't know I had." His expression grew serious. "Gohan says Videl was affected. Where is she?" "In the medical wing," Bulma replied. "Chi-Chi and Pan are with her. She's not in danger, but she's experiencing sensitivity to energies beyond normal human perception." "I should see her," Goku decided. "First," Bulma countered, "you need to tell us everything you've experienced since this began. Two universes are colliding, Goku. The fate of both might depend on understanding what's happening to you." For the next hour, Goku recounted everything: the initial tremor, the golden energy, the foreign memories, the instinctive knowledge of how to stabilize convergence points. Shuna added her observations, collaborating with Romulus to explain how magic from their world interacted with the key energy of Goku's universe. Scientists from both worlds documented everything, occasionally interrupting with questions that Goku often couldn't answer. The foreign memories remained fragmentary, more impression than detailed recollection. So you're saying, Bulma Samar, Ized of 8 be the reincarnation of some kind of creation deity? A god who could shape reality? The evidence supports this hypothesis, Romulus confirmed, floating excitedly around displays show wing energy readings from the convergence points. The stable merger patterns we're detecting at sites where Son Goku intervened show divine resonance patterns consistent with primordial creation energy. Vegeta, who had returned during the discussion and listened silently from the corner, finally spoke. Kakarot was a third-class Saiyan warrior. Nothing in our history mentions Saiyans possessing divine creation power. Perhaps not in recorded history, Romulus countered. But the oldest legends of my world speak of a time before time, when the original beings shaped reality. One was described as golden-furred and fierce, with the power to create through destruction and destroy through creation. The description sent another flash of memory through Goku's mind, standing before a cosmic forge, simultaneously creating and destroying galaxies to maintain universal balance. The vision was so vivid that he staggered, catching himself against a nearby console. Dad, Gohan moved to support him. I'm okay, Goku assured him, though the foreign memories left him disoriented. Just another flash of whatever these memories are. We should proceed to the medical wing, Shuna suggested, noting Goku's fatigue. Both to check on Lady Videl and to ensure Son Goku hasn't suffered adverse effects from channeling divine energy through immortal form. Bulma nodded agreement. Good idea. Besides, there's something about Videl's condition you should see. It might be connected. They proceeded through Capsule Corporation's sprawling complex, now populated by an unlikely mix of Huma-N scientists and magical beings from Shuna's world. The cooperation between the groups was tentative but promising, united by common scientific curiosity and the urgent need to understand the cosmic crisis. The medical wing had expanded into adjacent rooms, treating injuries from the convergence events. They found Videl in a private monitoring room, with Chi-Chi and Pan keeping anxious vigil beside her bed. Goku's daughter-in-law sat upright, appearing physically unharmed but profoundly changed. Her eyes tracked movement across the room before people actually moved, as if seeing moments ahead in time. More strikingly, faint golden patterns occasionally rippled across her skin, the same energy Goku had channeled, though in lesser intensity. Videl, Gohan rushed to her side, taking her hand. How are you feeling? Better now, she answered, her voice steady despite her obvious disorientation. The voices are quieter when I focus. Her gaze fixed on Goku as he entered, widening with recognition that went beyond familial connection. You feel it too. Goku approached slowly. The golden energy. Videl nodded. It showed me things when the worlds collided. History that never happened. Futures that might still come. Her free hand rose, golden energy spiraling around her fingertips in pale imitation of what Goku had manifested. I can see the connections now. Between people, between worlds. Lady Videl appears to have developed oracular sensitivity, Shuna observed, her magical senses assessing the human woman. In my world, such abilities typically manifest only in those with celestial bloodlines or divine blessing. But why Videl? Chi-Chi asked, her protective instincts extending to her daughter-in-law. Why not any of the rest of us? Perhaps because she was physically present at a convergence point during its formation, Romulus suggested, floating closer to examine the golden patterns on Videl's skin. Or perhaps, his ancient eyes moved between Videl and Goku thoughtfully. Perhaps because there is some connection between her soul and the divine energy Son Goku channels. Connection? Gohan questioned, his arm tightening protectively around Videl's shoulders. In the primordial age, Romulus explained, the creator deities rarely worked alone. Many had consorts, companions who shared portions of their divine essence. The legends speak of Su-L resonance, mortal spirits capable of harmonizing with divine energy. Videl's eyes never left Goku's as the diminutive demon lord spoke. I saw you, she said quietly. In the visions, not as you are now, but as you were. Golden throne, stars being born. She echoed Goku's earlier description with uncanny precision. And I was there too, though not as myself. The revelation created an awkward silence. Chi-Chi's expression tightened at the implication of a past life connection between her husband and her son's wife. Gohan looked troubled, though more concerned for Vidal's well-being than jealous. Goku, characteristically straightforward, simply nodded. I've been seeing similar things. Memories that can't be mine. He approached Vidal's bedside, opposite from Gohan. May I? He asked, indicating her hand where the golden energy still spiraled. When both Vidal and Gohan nodded permission, Goku gently took her hand in his. The moment their skin touched, the golden energy flared brilliantly, illuminating the room with divine light. A shared vision consumed them both, standing together before the cosmic forge, not as Goku and Vidal but as their primordial selves, weaving reality from void. The vision ended as suddenly as it began, leaving them both gasping. The golden energy receded, though a faint connection remained between them, not romantic or inappropriate, but profoundly spiritual. You were my oracle, Goku said with quiet certainty. In that other life, you saw the patterns of creation before they formed. And you gave them substance, Vidal confirmed. We balanced each other. Fascinating, Romulus whispered, ancient eyes wide with wonder. Soul memory persisting across divine reincarnation. Chi-Chi stepped forward protectively. Whatever happened in some past life doesn't matter now, she insisted, her practical nature asserting itself. What matters is fixing these worlds and helping our family. Her words broke the momentary tension, reminding Eve Ryan of the crisis still unfolding beyond the laboratory walls. Bulma checked readings on Vidal's monitoring equipment, her scientific mind already processing implications. If Vidal has developed sensitivity to these energies, she might be able to help predict where the next convergence points will form, she suggested. That could give us time to evacuate areas before rifts appear. I think I already can, Vidal said, looking down at her hands where traces of golden energy still lingered. When I focus, I can see stress points in reality. Places where the worlds are straining against each other. And I might be able to stabilize those points before they rupture, Goku added, the golden energy responding to his intent by flickering across his fingertips. You'll need guidance to use that power effectively, Shuna observed. Creation energy is fundamentally different from combat energy. Without proper understanding, you risk accelerating the convergence rather than stabilizing it. Can you help me? Goku asked directly. Shuna considered this, then nodded. The magical principles of my world include rudimentary creation manipulation, though nothing approaching your potential. I can teach you control techniques that might help. Then we have a starting point, Bulma declared with characteristic determination. Vidal predicts, Goku stabilizes, with Shuna's guidance. She turned to Romulus. Meanwhile, our teams will continue analyzing the physical and magical properties of the convergence to understand why it's happening in the first place. And the rest of us? Vegeta asked, arms crossed impatiently. Protection and evacuation, Bulma answered immediately. You, Gohan, Piccolo, and fighters from both worlds need to coordinate efforts to minimize casualties. As they discussed logistics, none noticed the shadowy figure observing from a dimensional pocket adjacent to their reality. You watched with ancient eyes as Thinto Place. The Saiyan god was awakening, faster than she had anticipated. Soon he would remember everything, including her betrayal millennia ago. Not yet, she whispered to herself, fingers trailing through dimensional currents. Let him embrace his power first. Let him believe he understands. With a gesture, she vanished, leaving no trace of her observation. Back in the medical wing, Vidal suddenly stiffened, her eyes widening. Inga's oracular senses detected something beyond normal perception. Someone was watching us, she said, scanning the room with newfound awareness. Someone powerful. Goku immediately extended his senses, probing the boundaries of the room and beyond. For a moment, he caught a flicker of familiar yet unknown energy, reminiscent of his own divine power but darker, colder. Whoever it was, they're gone now, he confirmed, troubled by the implications. But Vidal's right, we were being observed. Could it be whoever caused the convergence? Gohan asked, scientific mind already forming hypotheses. I don't think so, Vidal answered, her oracular gift providing impressions rather than certainties. They felt familiar somehow. Like they knew you, Goku. The statement hung in the air, Ding, another layer of mystery to an already incomprehensible situation. Before anyone could speculate further, alarms blared throughout the compound. Bulma rushed to a communication panel. Another convergence point forming, she announced after receiving details. Eastern District, near Satan City. That's my father's territory, Videl said, immediately moving to stand despite her condition. Gohan supported her protectively. I have to warn him. I can get us there instantly, Goku offered. Shuna, will you come? I might need your guidance with the creation energy. The pink-haired princess nodded immediately. Of course, I'm coming too, Videl insisted, meeting Gohan's concerned gaze with determination. My new senses might help predict how the convergence will unfold. Though clearly reluctant, Gohan recognized the resolve in his wife's eyes. Then I'm coming as well. Chi-Chi, can you watch Pan? Goku asked his wife, who nodded despite her evident worry. Just be careful, she admonished them all. Whatever's happening, whatever you were in some past life, you're my husband now. Remember that. The simple statement grounded Goku, reminding him of the life and family he'd built. Whatever divine heritage might be awakening within him, his connections to those he loved remained his anchor. Always, he promised with a gentle smile, before placing his fingers to his forehead. Videl, Gohan, and Shuna placed their hands on his shoulders, and with a moment of concentration, they vanished from the laboratory. They reappeared on a hillside overlooking Satan City, or what had been Satan City before the convergence. Now the urban landscape had partially merged with what appeared to be a massive fantasy castle and surrounding medieval township. The architectural styles blended at their boundaries, creating impossible structures of concrete, glass, and enchanted stone. Above the merged city, reality trembled. The rift hadn't fully formed yet, but dimensional. Stress was visible as shimmering distortions in the air. Citizens from both worlds ran through streets that twisted between realities, panic evident even from a distance. It's not fully manifested yet, Videl observed, her newly enhanced senses perceiving the dimensional stress. We have maybe 10 minutes before complete rupture. We need to evacuate as many as possible, Gohan said, already scanning for organized response efforts. There, Shuna pointed toward the city center, where a familiar figure stood atop a partially transformed building, shouting instructions through a megaphone. Is that not your father, Lady Videl? Indeed, Hercule Satan, self-proclaimed world champion and actual hero in his own right, was directing evacuation efforts with characteristic bombast but genuine concern. Despite the cosmic nature of the crisis, he remained true to his role as Satan City's protector. Dad, Videl whispered, relief evident in her voice. Then her expression changed as her oracle. Our senses perceived something approaching. There's something coming through, something from the other side. As if summoned by her words, the dimensional distortions intensified. A massive shape push, ed through from Shuna's world. A dragon-like creature with obsidian scales and multiple heads, each breathing different elemental energy. The beast roared with multiple voices as it partially materialized. Its enormous body still half caught between dimensions. A catastrophe-class magical beast, Shuna identified immediately, horror in her voice. Those are sealed in the deepest dungeons of our world for good reason. The convergence must have disrupted its containment. Goku's combat instincts kicked in immediately. Gohan, help with evacuations. I'll handle the dragon. Be careful, Shuna warned. In my world, such creatures cannot be defeated by physical force alone. Their cores are protected by dimensional magic. Then I'll need to use that golden energy again, Goku realized. He closed his eyes, focusing on the protective instinct that had triggered the divine power before. The lives at stake, the need to preserve rather than destroy. The power responded, golden energy flowing through him more readily this time. His body lifted from the ground, surrounded by divine aura that resembled his Super Saiyan transformation but felt fundamentally different, creation rather than destruction, though no less powerful. Gohan stared in awe at his father's transformation before shaking himself back to the task at hand. I'll get as many people clear as possible, he promised, Bloss. Ching toward the city center to assist Hercule's evacuation efforts. I'll come with you, Videl told Goku, her own body now emanating faint golden light as her oracular powers activated fully. I can see its dimensional anchors, the points where it's connected to both worlds. And I will provide magical support, Shuna added, her hands already weaving complex patterns as she prepared defensive enchantments. Goku nodded gratefully. Whatever this divine power was, he sensed that facing the interdimensional threat would require more than his usual approach to combat. With Videl and Shuna flanking him, he flew toward the materializing dragon, golden energy trailing behind him like the wake of creation itself. As they approached, the dragon's multiple heads turned toward them, sensing the divine energy Goku emanated. Its roars changed from rage to something approaching recognition and fear. Whatever this beast was, it recognized the golden power. It knows what you are, Videl observed, her oracular senses interpreting the creature's reaction. In its primitive consciousness, it remembers the divine authority that once sealed its kind. The observation triggered another flash of Orain memory in Goku's mind. Standing before legions of such beasts, not fighting them but commanding them, assigning each a place in the cosmic order. The dragon had not feared him as a threat but recognized him as its original master. I think I can control it, Goku realized, the knowledge emerging from those ancient memories. Not through force, but through divine authority. Be cautious, Shuna warned, her magical experience evident in her concern. Catastrophe beasts are cunning. They resent their imprisonment. Goku nodded acknowledgement as they closed the distance. The dragon was nearly fully materialized now, its enormous body demolishing buildings with casual movements as it oriented itself in the merged reality. Each of its 7 heads breathed different elemental energy: fire, ice, lightning, acid, wind, earth. And a 7th that seemed to distort space itself. Rather than attacking immediately, Goku hovered before the massive creature, golden energy flowing around him in patterns that mirrored the structure of reality itself. When he spoke, his voice carried the resonance of Divern to your slumber, he commanded, the words emerging not from conscious thought but from ancient memory. This realm is not yours to ravage. The dragon hesitated, its multiple heads swaying as primitive consciousness warred between instinct and recognition of authority. For a moment, it seemed the divine command would be sufficient. Then the central head, the one breathing spatial distortions, lunged forward with unexpected speed. Goku dodged with characteristic reflexes, but the attack hadn't been aimed at him. The spatial distortion breath engulfed Videl instead, momentarily removing her from normal reality. She cried out as her body phased between dimensions, the oracular energy protecting her from immediate destruction but unable to fully counter the attack. Videl, Goku shouted, protective instinct flaring. The golden energy responded explosively, expanding outward, in a wave that stabilized the dimensional fluctuations around her, pulling her back into solid reality. The moment of distraction cost him as another head, the one breathing lightning, struck from the side. The elemental attack would have killed an ordinary being instantly, but against Goku's divine aura, it merely staggered him. Shuna immediately countered with her own magic, weaving a complex barrier that deflected the dragon's follow-up attack. Its intelligence exceeds normal parameters, she called out, magical analysis flowing through her mind. The convergence must have enhanced its capabilities. Recovered from the surprise attack, Videl hovered beside Goku, her expression determined despite the close call. I can see its dimensional anchors clearly now, she said, golden light pulsing around her hands. 7 points corresponding to each head. They have to be severed simultaneously or it will simply regenerate. Can you guide me to them? Goku asked, already gathering divine energy for a more direct approach. Videl nodded, her oracular vision perceiving patterns beyond normal sight. Follow my lead. What followed was a battle unlike any Goku had fought before. Rather than direct combat, he allowed Videl's oracular guidance to direct his divine energy toward the invisible dimensional anchors that tethered the dragon between worlds. Shuna provided magical support, her barriers and enhancement spells protecting them from the dragon's increasingly desperate attacks. The creature seemed to realize what they were attempting. Its 7 heads worked in coordination now, creating compound elemental attacks that tested even Goku's divine defenses. Buildings crumbled beneath the collateral damage despite their efforts to contain the battle. From the ground below, Gohan and Hercule continued evacuation efforts, occasionally glancing upward at the cosmic battle unfolding above their city. The contrast was stark, ordinary humans running for safety while beings LDING divine and magical power confronted an interdimensional monstrosity. Almost there, Videl called out as they severed the fifth-dimensional anchor. Golden light flowed from her hands to Goku's, guiding his energy with oracular precision. Two more. The dragon, sensing its imminent banishment, unleashed its full fury. All 7 heads attacked simultaneously, elemental energies combining into a devastating composite beam that overwhelmed Shuna's protective barriers. "Look out!" the princess cried as her magic shattered under the onslaught. Instinctively, Goku threw himself between the attack and his companions, divine energy forming a shield before him. The impact drove him backward through the air, golden light warring with elemental chaos. In that moment of crisis, something deeper awakened within him. Not just fragments of divine memory, but understanding of what he truly was, had always been, beneath the mortal incarnation. The golden energy responded to this awakening, panting outward not as a shield but as creative force. Where the dragon's attack touched the golden energy, it wasn't nullified but transformed, chaotic destruction converted into ordered creation. Composite beam became raw material for Goku's divine power, feeding rather than harming him. "That's it," he whispered as understanding flooded his consciousness. Creation through destruction. With newfound confidence, Goku flew directly toward the dragon, no longer avoiding its attacks but embracing them, transforming their destructive force into creative potential. The golden energy around him intensified with each absorbed attack, growing brighter until he shone like a second sun above the merged city. Videl and Shuna followed in his wake, their own abilities amplified by proximity to his awakening divinity. Together, they reached the final 2-dimensional anchors. Now, Videl directed, oracular vision perceiving the perfect moment. Goku released the accumulated energy in 7 precisely directed streams, each targeting one of the invisible anchors. The golden light severed the dragon's connections to both worlds simultaneously, creating a perfect circle of creation energy around the massive beast. The dragon roared in defiance and recognition as its form began to dissolve, returning to the dimensional void between worlds. Its final gaze fixed on Goku held not hatred, but something approaching reverence, ancient recognition of its original master. As the last traces of the dragon vanished, the dimensional rift above Satan City began to collapse. But rather than the chaotic implosion that would have caused massive destruction, Goku extended his hands toward the tear in reality, golden energy flowing outward once more. "I understand now," he said quietly, "Gaiden. The convergence rather than fighting it. These worlds aren't meant to be separated again. They're trying to become something new." Under his divine guidance, the rift closed gently, the merged portions of Satan City stabilizing into a new configuration that honored both original realities. Where there had been conflict between physical laws, there was now harmony, magic and technology coexisting in balanced relationship. As they descended toward the ground where Gohan and Hercule awaited them, the golden energy gradually receded back into Goku's body. He felt different, not just powered up but fundamentally changed, as if long-dormant aspects of his true self had finally awakened. "That was," Hercule began, for once at a loss for his usual bombastic words. "I don't even know what that was." "Dad." Videl embraced her father, her own golden aura now barely visible. "You're safe." "Of course I am." Hercule recovered some of his characteristic bluster. "The champ always survives." "But, his voice lowered confidentially, "what exactly happened up there? And what's with the glowing?" Before Videl could attempt an explanation, Gohan approached Goku with open concern. "Dad, are you all right? That power." "I'm fine, son," Goku assured him, though his expression had gained a thoughtfulness rarely seen. "Better than fine. I'm starting to remember." "Remember what?" Gohan asked. "Who I was." Goku answered simply. "Before I was Son Goku." The statement hung in the air between them, its implications too vast to fully process in the aftermath of battle. Shuna studied him with scholarly interest, noting how his entire bearing had subtly changed, still Goku, but with an added dimension of awareness behind his eyes. "The divine awakening progresses faster than expected," she observed. "Your connection to creation energy grows stronger with each manifestation." "It feels natural," Goku admitted. "Like I'm not learning something new but remembering something I always knew." Their conversation was interrupted as Vegeta landed nearby, his armor showing signs of recent battle. "Another rift has stabilized near the western mountains," he reported tersely. "Whatever." You did here affected other convergence points as well. The divine energy is establishing a pattern, Shuna explained, creating a template for stable merger between our worlds. Vegeta's gaze fixed on Goku, noting the changes in his longtime rival. So it's me sort of, creation deity. I don't know about deity, Goku answered with characteristic humility despite the cosmic power he'd just wielded. But I'm remembering things, a life before this one. Responsibilities I once had. HMPH. Vegeta crossed his arms, his expression unreadable. Always something with you, Kakarot. Never saw Tisfeed with being nearly the strongest fighter. Despite the gravity of the situation, Goku laughed, the familiar sound reassuring those who knew him. Whatever divine heritage was awakening within him, he remained fundamentally himself. Trust me, Vegeta, I didn't plan this, he said with a grin. But now that it's happening, I need to understand it. For everyone's sake. As they discussed next steps, none noticed the dimensional ripple several miles above them, where you observed with growing concern. The Saiyan god was awakening faster than anticipated, remembered more than he should at this stage. If he fully recalled his divine nature before she was ready, adjustments must be made, she whispered to the cosmos, her fingers weaving patterns through dimensional currents. The convergence must accelerate. With a gesture that bent reality itself, she vanished once more, leaving only the faintest trace of her presence, a disturbance that made Videl look skyward with troubled oracular senses. Sensing something just beyond perception. What is it? Goku asked, noticing her concern. I'm not sure, Videl answered slowly. But I think someone's watching us. Someone connected to all of this. Goku's gaze followed hers to the empty sky, divine senses extending outward. For a brief moment, he caught a flicker of familiar presence, not merely observed, but recognized at some primal level. A name formed in his mind, emerging from buried memory. You, he whispered, the name carrying weight beyond mere sound. And somewhere beyond normal perception, that name resonated across dimensions, signaling the beginning of a divine remembrance that would reshape worlds. Chapter 1 End Chapter 2, Echoes of Divinity. Golden light suffused the underground chamber, casting no shadows despite its brilliance. Goku stood at its center, palms extended outward, brow furrowed in concentration. The energy flowing from his hands wasn't the familiar destructive force of Ki Bu. Something far more fundamental, the raw power of creation itself. Steady, Shuna instructed from the chamber's edge, her analytical magic casting emerald patterns across the reinforced walls. Qian energy responds to intent more than will. Visualize the result, not the process. Sweat beaded on Goku's forehead as he adjusted his approach. Unlike Ki manipulation, which he'd mastered through decades of combat, creation energy required an entirely different mindset. Instead of projecting force outward, he needed to envision possibility becoming reality. The golden light intensified, coalescing between his palms into a miniature galaxy, stars and planets forming, orbital mechanics establishing themselves naturally as matter condensed from pure energy. The microscopic cosmic system rotated gently, perfect in every detail. Remarkable, Shuna whispered, her magical senses perceiving layers of complexity beyond visual observation. You've created a fully functional stellar system in miniature, complete with gravitational constants and elemental composition. Goku studied his creation with childlike wonder despite the godlike power it represented. It just feels right. Like I've done this countless times before. Because perhaps you have, came Bulma's voice over the chamber's communication system. Behind reinforced observation glass, she monitored readings that defied conventional physics. The energy you're emitting resembles the background radiation of the universe itself. It's like you're tapping into the original creative force. The miniature galaxy continued, rotating between Goku's palms for several moments before he carefully dissolved it, reabsorbing the golden energy. Unlike Ki techniques, which left him depleted after extended use, creation energy meant to flow through him rather than from him, an inexhaustible cosmic current that he channeled rather than expended. 3 days had passed since the convergence event that merged portions of two universes. While teams of scientists and magicians worked frantically to understand and stabilize the phenomenon, Goku had sequestered himself in this specially constructed training chamber beneath Capsule Corporation. The facility combined Bulma's advanced technology with magical reinforcements provided by Shuna and her colleagues from Tempest. Your control improves exponentially, Shuna observed as the golden light receded into Goku's body. Her formal speech carried hints of admiration beneath scholarly assessment. What took hours yesterday now manifests in moments. Goku rolled his shoulders, characteristically humble despite wielding cosmic power. It's like remembering how to ride a bike, clumsy at first, then the body recalls what the mind forgot. His expression grew more thoughtful. Except these aren't my memories. Or at least, they weren't until now. Before Shuna could respond, the chamber's communication system activated again. Goku, came Gohan's voice, tension evident despite the electronic distortion. Vidal's having another episode. Her oracular visions are intensifying. She's asking for you. I'll be right there, Goku replied immediately, concern replacing concentration. He turned to Shuna. Will you come? Your magical analysis might help understand what she's experiencing. The pink-haired princess nodded without hesitation. Of course. Lady Vidal's connection to divine energy remains unprecedented in my experience. Each manifestation provides valuable insights. They exited the training chamber together, ascending through Capsule Corporation's underground levels. The massive complex had transformed into an interdimensional research hub where beings from both universes collaborated to understand the convergence. Humans in lab coats worked alongside ogres wielding magical instruments. Goblins carried equipment for elven enchanters, and throughout it all, the Brief family's robot assistants zipped along predetermined paths, delivering coffee to researchers regardless of species. As they navigated these crowded corridors, Goku noticed how others reacted to his presence, not with the casual familiarity he'd once known, but with a reverence that made him uncomfortable. Word had spread about his divine abilities, transforming perception of the once simple Saiyan warrior. They sense the divinity awakening within you, Shuna observed quietly, noting his discomfort. In my world, such power naturally commands respect. I'm still just Goku, he insisted as they entered an elevator. Divine power or not, I'm the same person I've always been. Shuna studied him with eyes that had witnessed the rise and fall of nations. Are you certain of that? The memories you're recovering, the abilities manifesting, these are not merely additions to your identity but fundamental revelations about your true nature. The elevator doors closed, giving them a moment of privacy. Goku leaned against the wall, unexpected weariness crossing his features. Sometimes I dream of stars being born, of shaping planets with my thoughts, of races looking to me not as a fighter but as their creator. His eyes met Shuna's. It feels both completely alien and intimately familiar. Like I'm remembering someone else's life that was somehow also mine. The divine paradox, Shuna replied, understanding in her voice. In my world's theology, gods who incarnate in mortal form often experience this duality, the mortal self discovering the immortal truth beneath. Before Goku could respond, the elevator arrived at the medical level. They found Gohan pacing outside one of the examination rooms, anxiety evident in every line of his body. The young scholar warrior looked up at their approach, relief crossing his features. Dad, thank goodness, she's been asking first started. Despite the circumstances, a flicker of something like confusion crossed Gohan's face, the lingering uncertainty about the connection between his father and his wife. She says, only you can understand what she's seeing. I'll do what I can, Goku promised, placing a reassuring hand on his son's shoulder. Has Bulma been monitoring her condition? Gohan nodded. Constant neural scans, energy readings. Everything we can think of. The golden energy appears in erratic pulses, each coinciding with a new vision. He hesitated, scientific precision warring with emotional concern. Dad, some of what she's describing. Cosmic events, civilizations we've never encountered, beings of pure energy, it's either impossible knowledge or extreme hallucination. Or memories, Goku suggested quietly. Like the ones I've been experiencing. This possibility hung between them, its implications too vast to address in a hospital corridor. With a nod of understanding, Gohan led them into the examination room. They found Videl sitting upright on the examination table, surrounded by monitoring equipment. Unlike a typical patient, she appeared physically vibrant, almost too much so. Golden energy rippled beneath her skin in visible current, concentrating around her eyes which now shimmered with opalescent light. Despite this otherworldly transformation, her expression brig HTENED with recognition when Goku entered. You felt it too, didn't you? She asked without preamble, the celestial alignment shifting, the currents of creation bending toward a focal point. Goku exchanged glances with Shuna before approaching Videl's bedside. I haven't felt anything specific, but my training with the creation energy has been intensifying. He studied her carefully, noting how the golden energy flowed through her system, similar to his own manifestation but with distinct differences. What are you seeing, Videl? Everything, she whispered, her gaze distant yet hyper-focused. Past, present, potential futures, all flowing together. There's a pattern emerging, Goku. A cosmic design revealing itself through the convergence. Shuna moved closer, her magical senses analyzing the divine energy. Lady Videl's oracular abilities have progressed significantly, she observed. The magical resonance indicates she's perceiving dimensional currents beyond conventional reality. It's more than perception, Videl corrected, her voice taking on harmonic undertones that echoed strangely in the clinical space. I'm remembering, just as Goku is. Not a past life exactly, but a cosmic role. An office of awareness. The term triggered another fragment of divine memory within Goku, standing before a cosmic council, assigning roles to various celestial beings. The office of awareness, responsible for perceiving patterns across reality's tapestry. The office of creation, his own domain, responsible for manifesting those patterns into existence. The oracle and the creator, Goku murmured. The titles emerging from buried memory. Two halves of a cosmic function. Videl nodded, recognition flaring in her illuminated eyes. Yes, that's it exactly. Not romantic partners but cosmic counterparts. I see. You create balance in all things. Gohan listened to this exchange with growing concern. Dad, what are you talking about? What offices? What cosmic counterparts? Before Goku could attempt to explain concepts he himself barely understood, Videl suddenly stiffened, her golden aura flaring brilliantly. He's coming, she whispered, terror evident despite the divine energy flowing through her. The void, the unmaker, he's found you. Who? Goku asked, instinctively moving into a protective stance. Who's coming? Instead of answering directly, Videl gripped his wrist with surprising strength. Pulling him closer. The moment their skin connected, golden energy arced between them like lightning, and Goku's consciousness was yanked violently from present reality into shared vision. They stood together on a crystalline platform suspended in primordial cosmos. Not as Goku and Videl but as their original divine aspects, the creator and the oracle, garbed in celestial raiment that flowed like liquid light. Before them knelt a figure of shadow and starlight, head bowed in apparent reverence. Asterisk. The cosmic forge requires balance, my lord, the kneeling figure said. His voice resonating across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Creation without purpose becomes chaos. I seek only to provide that purpose. Asterisk. Your purpose exceeds your office, void. Replied the creator, Goku's divine self, with gentle but unyielding authority. The office of negation exists to end what has fulfilled its cosmic function, not to judge what deserves existence. Asterisk. A semantic distinction, my lord. Void countered, rising to his full height, a being composed of contained nothingness, boundaries defined by where reality ended and his essence began. I merely seek efficiency in our cosmic work. Why create civilizations doomed to decay? Why forge stars destined for collapse? Why not perfect creation through selective negation? Asterisk. The oracle, Videl's divine aspect, stepped forward. Her many-faceted eyes perceiving countless potential timelines simultaneously. Because perfection is stagnation, void. The cosmic design requires growth through cycles of creation and dissolution. Your proposal would freeze reality into unchanging crystal. Asterisk. And is that not divinity's ultimate aim? Void challenged. Perfect, eternal order. Asterisk. No, the creator answered simply. Divinity's aim is possibility, eternal becoming, not eternal being. Asterisk. Asterisk. Void's form darkened, stars within his shadowy substance blinking out one by one. Then we stand at philosophical impasse, my lord. One that cannot be resolved through mere discussion. Asterisk. Be careful, old friend, the creator warned, sadness rather than anger in his tone. What you contemplate violates cosmic law. Asterisk. Laws created by you, Void replied, his form beginning to distort as he gathered negation energy. Perhaps it is time for new laws. Perhaps it is time for a new creator. Asterisk. The vision fractured as Void launched his attack. Negation energy meeting creation in a cosmic conflagration that transcended ordinary concepts of battle. Asterisk. Goku gasped as the vision released him, stumbling backward from Videl's bedside. The shared memory had lasted only seconds in physical reality, but his mind had experienced its full duration. Sweat drenched his training GI, and golden energy flickered erratically around. His form as his divine aspect responded to the remembered threat. Void, he whispered, the name carrying weight beyond mere sound. My advisor, my friend, he betrayed everything we stood for. You remember him? Videl asked, her own golden aura stabilizing as the vision faded. Goku nodded slowly. Not everything, but enough. He held the office of negation, responsible for ending what had fulfilled its cosmic purpose. But he wanted more control, more authority over what deserved to exist. His expression darkened with uncharacteristic gravity. He tried to usurp my position as creator. And now he's found you again. Videl continued, her oracular senses perceiving connections across time and space. The convergence of worlds awakened your divine essence, and alerted him to your presence. Who exactly is this Void figure? Gohan interjected, scientific skepticism warring with years of experience witnessing the impossible. Another deity from before time. Not merely a deity, Shuna answered, her scholarly knowledge of magical cosmology providing context the others lacked. If these visions speak true, he would be the cosmic principle of negation itself, the fundamental force that allows for renewed creation by ending what came before. Like destruction gods in our universe, Gohan realized. Beerus and the others, similar in function but vastly different in scope, Shuna clarified. Destruction gods operate within established cosmic frameworks. What Lady Videl describes as a primordial force that helped establish THS expression grew increasingly troubled as more fragments of divine memory surfaced. We fought. Across realities, across dimensions. The battle itself damaged the cosmic structure. His eyes widened as crucial understanding clicked into place. That's why I was reborn as a Saiyan, to hide my divine essence within mortal form while reality healed. And now the convergence has compromised that concealment, Videl added, her oracular sight perceiving the pattern. Two universes merging has created enough cosmic disturbance to awaken what was hidden. The implications hung heavily in the medical room's sterile air. If Goku's divine awakening had alerted Void to his presence, then the threat extended beyond mere world merger, it potentially endangered the cosmic order itself. Before anyone could suggest next steps, the building's emergency alarms blared to life. Red warning lights bathed the room as Bulma's voice came over the facility-wide communication system. Attention all personnel. Dimensional anomaly detected in the central atrium. Unknown entity materializing. This is not a drill. Security protocols Alpha 7 now in effect. Goku reacted instantly, two fingers touching his forehead as he locked onto the disturbance. I sense it. Something forcing its way through dimensional barriers. Stay here, he instructed the others, though he knew the command was likely futile. I'm coming with you, Gohan stated firmly, already moving toward the door. As am I, Shuna added, magical energy gathering around her hands in preparation for whatever threat approached. Videl slid from the examination table, golden energy stabilizing around her form. If it's Void, you'll need me to perceive his dimensional anchors. Recognizing both the truth in her words and the futility of argument, Goku nodded. Stay close. If it is Void, he's beyond anything any of us have faced before. Instead of conventional movement, Goku extended his awareness, creating a localized fold in space-time that transported all four of them in. Instantly to Capsule Corporation's central atrium. They materialized amidst chaos, researchers from both worlds evacuating in orderly panic as security systems activated automatically. In the atrium's center, reality itself was unraveling. A sphere of absolute darkness hung suspended in midair, its surface rippling like disturbed water. The anomaly emitted no energy Goku could detect through conventional senses. Yet his awakening divine perception recognized it immediately, a pocket of pure negation, the antithesis of creation itself. Is that him? Gohan asked, dropping into fighting stance beside his father. No, Goku answered. Divine memory providing certainty, not Void himself. A projection, a fragment. He's testing defenses, sensing what awaits him here. As if responding to this assessment, the sphere of darkness expanded suddenly, engulfing a nearby research station. Where the negation touched, matter simply ceased to exist, not destroyed but retroactively removed from reality's equation, leaving no trace behind. Shuna's hands moved in complex patterns as she invoked protective magic, emerald barriers forming around remaining personnel. This entity operates beyond conventional physical laws, she warned. Its negation principle cannot be countered with ordinary force. Then we'll use extraordinary force, Goku replied, golden creation energy already flowing through his system. Unlike his careful training exercises, this manifestation emerged naturally in response to imminent threat. The energy surrounded him in radiant coronae, his mortal form barely containing the divine power awakening within. The sphere of negation seemed to sense this opposing force. It pulsed once, then launched tendrils of darkness toward Goku with impossible speed. Where these ons of void touched the facility's structure, reality unraveled, concrete, steel, and glass simply vanishing from existence. Goku met the attack directly, creation energy flowing from his extended hands in golden waves. Where creation met negation, reality itself shuddered, fundamental forces straining as opposing cosmic principles collided. It's trying to erase you from existence. Videl shouted, her oracular vision perceiving the void entity's intent. Not kill, completely remove. Understanding the distinction, Goku adjusted his approach. Rather than opposing the negation directly, he began weaving creation energy around its boundaries, containing rather than confronting. Golden light formed complex geometric patterns that corresponded to reality's fundamental structure, creating a framework that the negation couldn't simply erase. Gohan, attack pattern Sigma, he called out, falling into practiced combat coordination with his son. Gohan responded instantly, powering up to his MYSTIC form as he launched key attacks not at the void itself but at specific points Goku's creation energy had highlighted, weak spots in the dimensional intrusion where conventional energy could affect the manifestation. Shuna, understanding their strategy, added her own contribution. Her magical expertise allowed her to perceive the mathematical patterns in Goku's creation energy. She began chanting in an ancient magical language, her spell reinforcing the geometric constraints Goku had established. The containment is working, Videl observed, her golden eyes tracking dimensional currents invisible to others. But it's adapting, learning the parameters of our reality. Even as she spoke, the void sphere began to pulse in complex rhythm, its negation energy focusing into concentrated beams that tested Goku's containment patterns with mathematical precision. Each probe struck at a potential weakness, methodically searching for escape. Sweat beaded on Goku's forehead as he countered each attempt. Creation energy flowing through patterns of increasing complexity. This wasn't combat as he understood it, not a test of strength or speed but a cosmic chess match played with fundamental forces. I can't hold it indefinitely, he admitted, divine power straining against mortal limitations. Whatever this is, it's only a fragment of Void's consciousness, yet it's already adapting to my containment. As if sensing this vulnerability, the Void entity suddenly changed tactics. Instead of attacking Goku directly, it sent a thin tendril of negation energy toward Videl, recognizing her oracular connection to the Creator. Videl, Gohan shouted in warning, moving to intercept. But the attack was merely a feint. As attention diverted to Videl, the main void sphere pulsed violently, expanding outward with explosive force. Goku's containment patterns shattered, golden energy dispersing as the negation wave rushed outward toward everyone present. In that crucial moment, faced with imminent erasure of those he loved, something fundamental shifted within Goku. The careful balance he'd maintained between mortal consciousness and awakening divinity tipped decisively. Divine memory and power flooded his awareness, not as foreign recollection but as recovered truth. Golden light erupted from his body with cosmic intensity, temporarily blinding everyone present. When vision cleared, Goku stood transformed, not into any recognizable Super Saiyan form, but something altogether different. His hair and eyes shone with golden light that contained hints of every color in existence. His body remained physically unchanged yet somehow conveyed the impression of vastly greater presence, as if more of him existed than three-dimensional space could properly contain. When he spoke, his voice carried harmonic resonances that seemed to stabilize reality itself. Enough, fragment. Return to your master. With a gesture both casual and precisely calculated, he rewove the shattered containment pattern. Creation energy flowing with effortless mastery. The geometric constraints reformed around the void sphere, but now they glowed with intensity that suggested fundamentally differ. NT properties, not merely containing the negation but actively opposing its principle. The void ally, its mathematical probing becoming increasingly desperate as it sought escape. But the containment held, creation energy systematically compressing the sphere of negation until it collapsed in upon itself with a sound like reality sighing in relief. As the immediate threat vanished, Goku's divine radiance gradually receded. Though traces of golden energy continued to shimmer around his form, he turned to the others, his expression reflecting complex mixture of his familiar self and something far older. "Are you all right?" he asked, genuine concern evident despite the cosmic power he'd just wielded. Gohan stared at his father with mingled awe and uncertainty. "Dad, what was that? What happened to you?" "I remembered," Goku answered simply. "Not everything, not yet. But enough to know what we're facing." His gaze shifted to Videl, who studied him with oracular perception. "You saw it too, didn't you?" The pattern becoming clear, she nodded slowly. Void sent that fragment deliberately, not to defeat you but to confirm his suspicions and gauge your awakening. Her golden eyes narrowed in concentration. "He's preparing something larger, something fundamental. A direct assault would be premature," Shuna observed, her magical senses still analyzing residual energy patterns. "This entity, this void, seems to operate strategically rather than impulsively." "He always did," Goku confirmed, another fragment of divine memory surfacing. "Even before his betrayal, Void was the strategist among us, calculating cosmic outcomes across eons." His expression grew troubled. "That's what made him so dangerous." Bulma rushed into the atrium, flanked by security personnel and magical researchers from Tempest. Her eyes widened at the destruction, perfect circular absences where matter had been completely erased from existence. "What happened here?" she demanded. "Scientific mind already cataloging the impossible phenomena. Our sensors registered energy patterns unlike anything we've ever recorded." "A herald," Goku answered gravely. "A fragment of something much worse." He turned to face the assembled researchers. "You need to focus your efforts on strengthening the boundaries between our merged worlds and other dimensions. Void will try to force his way through completely next time." Bulma studied her oldest friend with newfound wariness, noting the golden energy still clinging to his form and the uncharacteristic authority in his voice. "You're really starting to remember, aren't you? What you were before." "Parts of it," Goku acknowledged. "Enough to know we're in danger beyond anything we've faced before." He gestured toward the circular voids in reality. "This was just a greeting, Void letting me know he's found me." As scientists began examining the anomalous damage, Shuna approached Goku with scholarly intensity. "Your manifestation of creation energy changed fundamentally during the confrontation," she observed. "The patterns shifted from intuitive to mathematically precise, as if you suddenly understood principles you were previously only sensing." "It felt like pieces clicking into place," Goku confirmed. "Not just remembering but becoming." He flexed his hands, golden energy flowing between his fingers with newfound control. "I still don't remember everything. But the knowledge is there, just beneath the surface." "Then we must accelerate your training," Shuna decided. "If Void intends direct confrontation, you'll need full mastery of your divine abilities." "Not just technical mastery," Videl added, joining their conversation. "Conceptual understanding. The divine offices operate on principles beyond physical force." Her oracular sight perceived possibilities branching outward from this moment. "We need to visit Tempest. The magical knowledge preserved there might help unlock more of your divine memory." "Tempest?" Gohan questioned, protective instincts flaring. "Is it safe to travel there with these dimensional vulnerabilities?" "Safer than remaining here," Shuna answered confidently. "Lord Rimuru has established D-dimensional barriers around our capital that even demon lords cannot easily breach." If any location in our merged worlds remains secure against extradimensional intrusion, it would be Tempest. Goku considered this. Divine intuition supplementing tactical assessment. She's right. We've been focused on understanding the convergence scientifically, but this is fundamentally a magical phenomenon. He turned to Bulma. Can you handle things here? Reinforce the facility against dimensional incursion. Please, Bulma scoffed, momentarily overcoming her awe with characteristic confidence. I've been retrofitting alien technology and handling impossible physics since before you learned to fly. Her expression softened with genuine concern. Be careful, Goku. Divine or not, you're still my oldest friend. Always, he promised with a flash of his familiar grin, a reassuring glimpse of the Goku they all knew beneath the awakening deity. As arrangements were made for their journey to Tempest, Videl pulled Gohan aside. Golden energy flickering anxiously around her form. You should stay here, she told him, her tone gentle but firm. Help Bulma secure Capsule Corp. Coordinate with the other Z fighters. You want me to let you go alone? Gohan asked, concern evident. After what just happened, I won't be alone, Videl assured him. And this is about more than us, Gohan. Something cosmic is unfolding. She took his hands in hers, golden energy briefly connecting them. I need to understand what's happening to me, just as Goku needs to understand what's happening to him. Though clearly reluctant, Gohan recognized the determination in his wife's eyes, the same stubborn resolve that had first drawn him to her. Promise you'll contact me if things get dangerous. Question brought a smile to Videl's lips. Things are already dangerous. She leaned forward, kissing him gently. But I promise to call for backup if cosmic entities start erasing reality again. Their moment of connection was interrupted as Vegeta entered the atrium, surveying the damage with practiced warrior's assessment. So it's true, he said, approaching Goku. Kakarot is transforming into something beyond Saiyan. Not transforming exactly, Goku corrected. Remembering. Becoming what I was before I was Saiyan. Vegeta's expression remained carefully neutral, though those who knew him well could detect complex emotions beneath the surface. Pride, envy, concern, and something approaching reverence, all warring for dominance. And what exactly were you? The prince finally asked. The creator, Goku answered simply. Or one of them, at least. I still don't remember everything. Vegeta absorbed this with remarkable composure. Of course you were, he said with resigned irony. Never satisfied with merely being the strongest fighter in the universe, were you, Kakarot? Had to be a god as well. Despite the gravity of the situation, Goku laughed, the familiar sound reassuring everyone present. Whatever divine memory and power might be awakening within him, his essential nature remained unchanged. Trust me, Vegeta, I didn't plan this, he said, echoing his earlier sentiment. But now that it's happening, I need to understand it. For everyone's sake. And you're going to this Tempest to seek answers? Vegeta asked, his tone suggesting he'd already decided to involve himself regardless of the response. Yes, Shuna answered before Goku could. Tempest possesses magical knowledge dating back to the primordial age. If answers exist in our merged worlds, they will be found there. Vegeta nodded once, decision made. Then I'm coming with you. We don't know what we'll face, Goku warned, though he appeared unsurprised by his rival's declaration. Precisely why you need someone watching your back, Vegeta countered. Divine or not, Kakarot, you've never been much for strategy or caution. This assessment, accurate as it was, drew small smiles from those who knew Goku well. Even as he access-covered divine memory, some aspects of his personality remained comfortingly constant. We should depart immediately, Shuna advised, her formal tone tinged with urgency. The dimensional disturbance will have attracted attention throughout both our worlds. Better to move while confusion provides cover. How do we get there? Videl asked practically. Is instant transmission safe with these dimensional fluctuations? Goku considered this, divine intuition supplementing his understanding of the technique. Probably not for long distances. The dimensional barriers are too unstable, we might end up anywhere. I can establish a direct teleportation circle, Shuna offered, magical symbols already forming around her hands. With Lady Videl's Oracular assistance to navigate dimensional currents, we can create a stable pathway to Tempest. Then it's settled, Goku decided, golden energy flowing around him in anticipation. Videl, Vegeta, Shuna, and I will travel to Tempest to seek answers about my divine nature and Void's intentions. He turned to Gohan. Son, I'm trusting you to coordinate defenses here. If another Void fragment appears, don't engage directly. Gohan finished, understanding the threat. Contain and call for reinforcements. With arrangements made and farewells exchanged, Shuna began the complex magical ritual that would transport them across the merged world. Emerald energy flowed from her hands, forming intricate patterns on the atrium floor that corresponded to dimensional coordinates. Lady Videl, she requested formally, if you would lend your oracular sight to perceive the clearest path. Videl nodded, stepping forward as golden energy illuminated her eyes. She placed her hands above Shuna's magical circle, divine perception allowing her to see potential routes across dimensional space. There, she murmured, adjusting a pattern slightly. The confluence of magical ley lines provides stable transit. As the teleportation circle neared completion, Goku felt a sudden prickling sensation across his divine senses, distant observation, as if something vast had turned its attention toward them momentarily. The feeling passed almost instantly, but its implications troubled him. We're being watched, he said quietly to Vegeta, who stood beside him with arms crossed. Void, the prince asked tersely. I don't think so, Goku replied, brow furrowed in concentration. Something else, something familiar. Before he could analyze the sensation further, Shuna's teleportation circle flared with completed power. It's ready, she announced. Everyone must stand within the boundary and maintain physical contact for the transit to encompass all. They positioned themselves within the glowing circle, hands on each other's shoulders to ensure no one would be left behind. Shuna began the activation chant, her melodious voice invoking magical principles beyond conventional understanding. As the teleportation magic reached its crescendo, reality around them began to distort. The familiar surroundings of Capsule Corporation stretched and blurred, colors shifting into impossible spectrums as dimensional barriers parted before Shuna's magic. In the final moment before transportation, Goku experienced another flash of divine memory, standing before a cosmic gateway of his own creation, establishing pathways between realms that mortal minds could never comprehend. The recollection brought understanding of the principles underlying their current transit, allowing him to perceive the mathematical perfection in Shuna's magical formulation. Then reality shifted completely, and they were elsewhere. The teleportation circle deposited them on a marble platform overlooking a landscape of breathtaking impossibility. What had once been a magical nation contained within forest boundaries had transformed through convergence with Goku's world. Tempest now existed as a sprawling metropolis where arcane spires rose alongside futuristic architecture, where magical creatures flew past hovercars, where technology and enchantment had achieved improbable synthesis. By the divine, Shuna whispered, momentarily overcome by the transformation of her homeland. The convergence has accelerated. It's beautiful, Videl observed, oracular vision perceiving currents of possibility flowing through the merged city. Not conflict between realities but harmony, each adapting to strengthen the other. Vegeta surveyed their surroundings with tactical assessment rather than wonder. Defensible position. Natural magical barriers reinforced by technological infrastructure. His appreciation was practical rather than aesthetic. Your leader planned well. Lord Rimuru sees opportunity where others perceive only chaos. Shuna confirmed, pride evident in her voice. When the convergence began, he immediately established protocols for integration rather than separation. Their conversation was interrupted as a contingent of guards approached the teleportation platform, a mixed group of magical beings and human security personnel, led by a tall blue-skinned Oni whose flaming hair contrasted sharply with his disciplined bearing. Lady Shuna, Benimaru greeted with formal bow. We received word of your imminent arrival. His careful gaze assessed her companions, lingering particularly on Goku. I see you bring the Divine One with you. Benimaru, Shuna returned the greeting with equal formality. Much has happened since our last communication. Son Goku's divine nature has begun awakening in earnest. We come seeking the primordial archives. The Oni commander's expression remained carefully neutral, though his eyes widened slightly at the mention of the archives. Lo, Road Rimuru awaits you in the central chamber. He anticipated your request. As they followed Benimaru through the transformed city, Goku absorbed the remarkable integration of two worlds. Citizens Fro. Both universes moved through streets where magic and technology functioned in seamless cooperation. Enchanted lamps powered by electrical infrastructure, vehicles guided by both mechanical systems and magical navigation. Buildings constructed from conventional materials reinforced by arcane geometry. Your people have adapted quickly, he observed to Shuna, genuine admiration in his voice. Necessity breeds innovation, she replied. Though her scholarly assessment carried undertones of pride. The initial chaos of convergence revealed compatible elements between our worlds that might have taken centuries to discover through conventional exchange. They approached what appeared to be the city's central administrative complex, a massive structure that perfectly symbolized the world's merger. Its foundation and lower levels consisted of traditional magical architecture, ornate stonework inscribed with ancient runes of protection and prosperity. But as the building rose, it gradually transformed into sleek modern design, culminating in crystalline spires that captured and refracted both sunlight and magical energy. Inside, the integration continued. Magical beings worked alongside humans at terminals that combined enchanted crystal with advanced technology. Security systems utilized both conventional scanners and arcane wards. Throughout the complex, the atmosphere hummed with productive energy, two civilizations finding strength in combination rather than conflict. Benimaru led them to a massive double door inscribed with runes that shifted continuously, never forming the same pattern twice. Lord Rimuru awaits within, he announced, gesturing for the guards to remain outside as the doors swung open soundlessly. The chamber beyond defied conventional architectural understanding. Its interior dimensions seemed impossible given the building's external proportions, a vast circular space with a domed ceiling that displayed accurate representation of the cosmos above their merged world. At the chamber's center stood what appeared to be a massive suspended droplet of liquid, shifting between humanoid form and amorphous state in rhythmic pulses. Welcome to tempestuously youthful and ancient. As the liquid condensed into definite shape, a slender figure with blue hair and androgynous features, dressed in formal attire that combined magical regalia with modern styling. I've been expecting you, Creator. Goku felt immediate recognition on a level beyond conscious thought, divine awareness acknowledging another being of comparable, if different, power. You know who I was, he stated rather than asked. I suspected from our first indirect contact, Rimuru Tempest replied, moving forward with liquid grace. The convergence of our worlds carried distinct essence of creation energy, your particular signature, in fact. The Demon Lord smiled, an expression of genuine warmth despite the cosmic powers at play. Though I admit, I didn't expect the Creator to reincarnate as a Saiyan warrior with such distinctive hair. This casual observation, so at odds with the cosmic gravity of their meeting, startled a laugh from Goku. Trust me, it surprised me too. The momentary levity seemed to relax everyone present. Rimuru gestured toward a circular arrangement of seats that rose from the chamber floor in response to his will. Please, make yourselves comfortable. We have much to discuss. And time grows increasingly precious. As they seated themselves, Rimuru's expression grew more serious. The void manifestation at your facility was detected by our dimensional monitors. Void has found you sooner than anticipated. You knew about Void, Vegeta demanded, suspicion flaring. You knew what we were facing and didn't share this information. Kane, knowledge without context would have been meaningless, Rimuru countered calmly. Until Son Goku's divine memory began reawakening, understanding the nature of Void would have been impossible. But how do you know about any of this? Videl asked, her oracular senses perceiving currents of ancient history flowing around the Slime Demon Lord. The cosmic offices, the primordial conflict, these precede recorded history. Rimuru's form shimmered slightly, his expression revealing ancient wisdom beneath youthful appearance. Because I was there, after a fashion. Not as Rimuru Tempest, but as constituent energy later incorporated into my being. He gestured, and the cosmic display above them shifted to show the universe in its infancy. When the Creator battled Void, the conflict shattered reality into fragments. Those fragments became the seeds of multiple universes, including both of ours. This revelation struck Goku with the force of recovered memory. Images flooded his consciousness, the cosmic battle, reality fracturing around them, desperate final measures taken to preserve what could be saved. I sealed myself away, he whispered as understanding dawned. Divided my divine essence, CE across multiple realities to prevent Void from claiming the office of creation. Precisely, Rimuru confirmed, your divine consciousness fragmented along with reality itself, incarnating in errant forms across the resulting universes. The Saiyan known as Kakarot is but one such incarnation, the one in which your divine spark has reawakened. And the convergence of our worlds? Shuna asked, her scholarly mind perceiving connections forming. Was this natural phenomenon or deliberate action? Neither entirely, Rimuru answered. When fragments of the Creator began stirring toward reawakening, resonance patterns formed between the fractured realities. Our worlds were particularly compatible, each containing significant portions of the original creation matrix. The convergence is reality attempting to heal itself. But Void opposes this healing, Videl observed, oracular vision perceiving the pattern. Because a reunified reality would facilitate the Creator's complete reawakening. And my complete reawakening would threaten his usurped authority, Goku concluded, divine memory providing the final piece. After our battle, when reality shattered and my essence scattered, Void claimed the abandoned office of creation for himself. Yet he lacks true creation power, Rimuru added. He can only manipulate, rearrange, or negate what already exists. For billions of years, this limitation has frustrated his cosmic ambitions. Vegeta, who had listened to these cosmic revelations with remarkable composure, finally spoke. So the fate of all existence hinges on Kakarot. Remembering his divine origins and reclaiming this office of creation, before Void destroys reality itself. He shook his head with resigned irony. Somehow, I'm not even surprised anymore. Despite the gravity of the situation, this assessment drew small smiles from those who knew Goku well. Even cosmic threats maintained certain familiar patterns where the Saiyan was concerned. The Primordia L archives may accelerate your memory recovery, Rimuru suggested, returning to immediate concerns. Records preserved from the original reality, protected through countless cycles of destruction and rebirth. We would be honored to access such knowledge, Shuna replied formally. Few even among Tempest's leadership know of the archive's existence. For good reason, Rimuru acknowledged. No, ledge from before time carries power that few can safely wield. His gaze fixed on Goku with ancient assessment. But for the Creator himself, such knowledge is merely remembrance. Before their discussion could continue, the chamber's atmosphere suddenly chilled. Frost formed on surfaces as reality itself seemed to thin, dimensional barriers weakening. Rimuru's expression shifted instantly from diplomatic to alert, his form rippling with concentrated power. Something approaches, he warned, gesturing sharply as magical barriers manifested throughout the chamber. Something that should not be here. Goku felt it too, a familiar cold pressure against his divine senses, like the void fragment but vastly more potent. Creation energy responded automatically, golden light flowing around his body in protective patterns. It's not Void himself, Videl observed, oracular vision piercing dimensional veils. But something directly connected to him. A herald of greater power. Reality rippled at the chamber's center. Dimensional barriers parting despite Rimuru's formidable protections. A figure materialized gradually, feminine in form but clearly not human, her body composed of crystalline darkness that absorbed light rather than reflected it. When she spoke, her voice resonated across multiple frequencies simultaneously. Creator, she acknowledged, addressing Goku directly. You awaken faster than expected. Who are you? Goku demanded. Creation energy gathered but not yet released, sensing that direct confrontation might be premature. I am Lethia, voice of void, emissary of negation. She replied with formal precision. I come with message and demonstration. You breach our sanctuary uninvited, Rimuru stated, his usually friendly demeanor replaced by the full authority of a demon lord. Explain your purpose quickly before I remove you forcibly. Lethia turned her crystalline gaze toward Rimuru, assessing rather than threatening. The slime who would be God. Your barriers are impressive but ultimately irrelevant. I come not to fight but to enlighten. She gestured, and reality around them shimmered. The chamber remained physically unchanged, but through the dome above, They now perceived not Tempest's sky but a vast panorama of multiple universes, countless realities existing simultaneously, connected by threads of fundamental force. Behold the cosmic tapestry as it currently exists. Lethia continued. Fractured, chaotic, inefficient. Each reality developing according to random chance rather than divine purpose. With another gesture, the vision shifted. Now they saw these same universes but transformed, arranged in perfect geometric harmony, each reality fulfilling specific function within a greater cosmic machine of absolute order. And this is the divine mandate my master implements in your absence, she explained. Perfect cosmic efficiency. No waste, no chaos, no unpredictability. Countered, divine memory providing understanding of what they witnessed. No possibility, no growth, no change. Static crystal rather than living creation. Freedom is inefficient, Lethia replied without emotion. Possibility invites disorder. Growth requires destruction. The creator's original vision was fundamentally flawed. You prioritized potential over perfection. Throughout this exchange, Videl had been studying the emissary with oracular perception. Seeing beyond physical form to the conceptual reality beneath. You were something else before, she stated suddenly. Before you served Void, you held a different office. Lethia's crystalline form flickered momentarily. Suggestion of long-buried emotion. I held the office of memory, she acknowledged. Until I recognized the fundamental error in the creator's cosmic design. This evolution triggered another fragment of divine recollection in Goku. Lethia before her transformation, a being of radiant light responsible for preserving the continuity of existence across cosmic cycles. One of his earliest creations. One of his most trusted cosmic servants. You abandoned your purpose, he said quietly, sadness rather than condemnation in his voice. Memory exists to inform creation, not to calcify it. I abandoned a flawed purpose for superior understanding, Lethia corrected. As did many others when Void revealed the true path to cosmic perfection. Why have you come? Vegeta demanded, his patience for cosmic philosophy evidently exhausted. To philosophize or to threaten? To offer choice, Lethia answered, her attention returning to Goku. Void remembers your compassion, Creator. Despite your fundamentally opposed visions, he respects what you once were. Her crystalline form shifted, becoming momentarily more recognizably feminine, almost beseeching. Rel, inquish your claim to the office of creation. Renounce your divine authority. Remain Son Goku, warrior of Earth, protector of mortals. Live out your incarnation in peace. And if I refuse? Goku asked, though divine intuition already anticipated the answer. Then Void will have no choice but to ensure your divine essence remains fragmented permanently, Lethia stated with cold precision. Begin. Ning with those whose connections to you run deepest. The threat hung in the chamber's charged atmosphere. No one present misunderstood its implications. Void would target those Goku loved, those who anchored his mortal identity. Those whose loss might prevent complete divine reawakening. If Void threatens my family, my friends, my world, Goku replied, golden energy flaring with controlled intensity. Then he will learn why even gods once feared the wrath of the Creator. Lethia studied him silently for a moment, crystalline features unreadable. You speak with the Creator's authority but lack the Creator's full memory. You do not yet comprehend what opposing Void truly means. She gestured once more, and the cosmic vision above them shifted again, showing countless worlds consumed by absolute void. Existence itself unraveling in patterns of mathematical precision. This is not destruction, Creator. This is negation. Not death but non-existence. Not defeat but erasure. Leave, Rimuru commanded, his slime form rippling with barely contained power. You have delivered your message and your threat. Further presence constitutes act of war against Tempest itself. War already exists, Lethia responded dispassionately. It began when the Creator's essence stirred toward reawakening. She turned back to Goku, crystalline features forming what might have been regret. You have 3 days by this world's reckoning to make your decision. After that, Void will proceed with systematic negation of your connections. Before anyone could respond, Lethia's form distorted, stretching into impossible geometries before vanishing completely, not teleporting but removing herself from their dimensional plane entirely. In the tense silence that followed, Vegeta spoke first. Well, Kakarot, he said with characteristic directness, It seems your divine past has the same effect as your Saiyan present, attracting enemies powerful enough to threaten all existence. Despite the gravity of the situation, or perhaps because of it, Goku found himself laughing, the familiar sound breaking the chamber's oppressive atmosphere. Some things never change, I guess, he agreed, golden energy receding as immediate threat passed. This is no laughing matter, Shuna admonished, though her formal tone carried hint of relieved tension. Void's emissary penetrated Lord Rimuru strongest dimensional barriers. No location in our merged world can be considered truly secure. Perhaps security isn't what we need, Videl suggested, oracular insight providing alternative perspective. If Void can reach us anywhere, then concealment serves no purpose. What we need is understanding. Goku's complete divine memory recovered as quickly as possible. Rimuru nodded agreement. The primordial archives remain our best option. If anything can accelerate the Creator's reawakening, it would be direct contact with records from before the sundering of reality. Then what are we waiting for? Gok, Yu asked with characteristic impatience for inaction. Let's access these archives and see what they can tell us. It's not quite that simple, Rimuru cautioned. The archives exist partially outside conventional reality, a pocket dimension preserved from the original cosmic order. Accessing them requires specific protocol. With fluid gesture, Rimuru transformed a section of the chamber floor, revealing an intricate circular pattern inscribed in materials that seemed to shift between solid matter and pure energy. The design contained symbols from no recognizable writing system, concepts rather than language. Fundamental principles rather than mere representation. The gateway of remembrance, Shuna identified with scholarly reverence. I've seen references in our most ancient texts, but never the actual construct. Few have, Rimuru confirmed. It predates my existence as Rimuru Tempest, preserved through countless cycles by powers beyond conventional understanding. His expression grew more serious. Creator, you and your oracle must enter together. The gateway responds to your specific divine resonance. Oracle, Vegeta questioned, glancing between them. Videl, Goku clarified. Divine memory providing understanding. In the original cosmic order, the Creator never worked alone. The oracle perceived patterns of possibility that the Creator then brought into existence. Videl stepped forward beside him. Golden energy flowing more visibly around her form. The divine offices functioned in complementary pairs. Creation and awareness, memory and time, negation and formation. Her oracular sight perceived connections invisible to others. Our souls remember these ancient bonds, even when our conscious minds forget. Shuna approached the gateway pattern, magical senses analyzing its complex construction. The arithmetical progression suggests temporal distortion within the archive dimension, she observed. Time will flow differently once you enter. How differently? Goku asked practically. Impossible to predict precisely, Rimuru answered. The archive exists partially outside normal timestream. What feels like hours within might be moments outside, or vice versa. So we could emerge to find Void has already begun his attack, Vegeta noted grimly. A calculated risk we must accept, Videl countered. Without Goku's complete divine memory, we stand no chance regardless of timing. Decision made, Goku and Videl positioned themselves within the gateway pattern. Golden energy flowed around them both, her oracular awareness harmonizing with his. Creation power as ancient cosmic partnership gradually re-established itself. We'll return as quickly as possible, Goku promised those remaining behind. Be ready for anything. Always am, Vegeta replied with confident smirk. Rimuru activated the gateway with gesture that seemed deceptive ed mathematical complexity beyond conventional understanding. The pattern beneath Goku and Videl illumined, aided with light that somehow appeared older than the universe itself, primordial radiance from before time's proper beginning. Reality folded around them, not merely transporting their physical forms, but transitioning their entire being between dimensional states. The last thing they perceived before complete transition was Shuna beginning intricate magical preparation, Vegeta dropping into meditative stance, and Rimuru's form shifting toward more martial configuration. Then they were elsewhere, or elsewhere, standing before endless shelves containing records in media beyond conventional understanding. Crystal spheres containing compressed dimensional information. Liquid vials of distilled conceptual essence. Books whose pages displayed different text depending on the reader's dimensional perspective. The primordial archives. Videl whispered, oracular senses overwhelmed by concentrated information stretching back to creation's earliest moments. All that was, all that might have been, all that could yet be. Goku absorbed their surroundings with uncharacteristic stillness, divine recognition flowing through him. I've been here before, he realized aloud. Many times. This was where he paused as memory crystallized, where I planned new creation cycles, studied patterns from previous iterations. Yes, came a voice from deeper within the archive, melodious yet ancient beyond reckoning. This was your workshop between cosmic cycles, Creator. Your laboratory of possibility. They turned toward the voice as a figure emerged from between impossibly tall shelves, feminine in form. Her body composed of what appeared to be liquid starlight, flowing and shifting while maintaining humanoid shape. Her eyes contained spiral galaxies, her hair cosmic nebulae in constant formation. You, Goku identified instantly, divine memory providing immediate recognition. Guardian of temporal confluence. You remember me, you observed, starlight features forming expression of pleased surprise. Your divine awakening progresses faster than I calculated. Who is she? Videl asked, oracular senses perceiving immense power and ancient purpose in the starlight being. My assistant, my student. Goku answered as more divine memory surfaced. You helped coordinate creation across multiple timelines, ensuring cosmic harmony between parallel iterations. I served the office of creation faithfully. You confirmed, approaching with movement like flowing constellation. Until cosmic sundering forced us all into fragmented existence. Something in her tone triggered caution in Videl's oracular awareness. You've been watching us, she realized aloud. Since the convergence began, you were the presence I sensed observing from beyond dimensional barriers. You inclined her starlight head in acknowledgement. I have monitored the Creator's reawakening from the moment our worlds began merging. Direct intervention would have been premature until certain variables aligned properly. Variables? Goku questioned, divine intuition detecting complex calculations beneath Yu's careful phrasing. Cosmic forces, dimensional resonances, you explained, gesturing toward the archives surrounding them. The proper recovery of divine memory requires precise conditions. Your confrontation with Void's fragment accelerated the process significantly. Videl studied he starlight being with increasing oracular perception, seeing currents of possibility flowing around her in patterns more complex than any they'd encountered previously. You're not telling us everything, she stated with quiet certainty. Instead of denying this assessment, Yu's starlight features formed expression of approval. The Oracle's perception remains impressively acute, even in reincarnated form. She turned, gesturing for them to follow deeper into the archive. Come. What I cannot explain in words, the archives themselves will reveal. As they followed the starlight being through corridors of preserved cosmic knowledge, Goku felt increasing resonance with their surroundings, divine memory responding to familiar environment. Each step seemed to unlock additional recollection, his awareness expanding beyond mortal limitations. The cosmic conflict with Void was not what you currently remember, you explained as they walked. The fragments of divine memory you've recovered. Present simplified version. Void's betrayal, cosmic battle, reality's sundering. That's not what happened, Goku asked, confusion evident despite expanding awareness. It is what happened, you clarified, but not why it happened. The true catalyst remains locked in your deepest divine memory. They reached a circular chamber at what appeared to be the archive's center, where reality itself seemed thinner, more conceptual than physical. At the chamber's heart floated a crystalline sphere that contained what looked like miniature galaxy in constant motion. The remembrance nexus, you identified. Core of the original reality. Preserved through cosmic sundering. Touch it, Creator, and remember what was lost. Goku approached the floating crystal cautiously, divine instinct providing both recognition and warning. What will I remember? He asked, uncharacteristic hesitation evident. The truth, you answered simply. About Void. About the office of creation. About why reality fractured. After moments' consideration, Goku reached forward, fingers extending toward the crystalline surface. The moment contact occurred, golden energy erupted around him with cosmic intensity, his consciousness expanding beyond physical limitations as complete divine memory cascaded through his awareness. Videl gasped as oracular sight allowed her to perceive fragments of what Goku experienced. The true cosmic history unfolding in all its complexity. You watched with expression of ancient calculation, starlight features revealing both anticipation and concern. When the golden energy finally receded, Goku stood transformed, not physically, but fundamentally. His posture, his presence, his very being now contained perfect harmony between mortal incarnation and divine essence. When he turned to face them, his eyes held depths of cosmic understanding alongside his familiar compassionate nature. "I remember everything," he stated simply, voice resonating with both divine authority and mortal humility. "The original design, the cosmic council, the fundamental disagreement, his gaze fixed on you with new understanding. And your role in all of it." The starlight being inclined her head in acknowledgement, neither confirming nor denying implications in his tone. "Then you understand why Void opposes your reawakening so vehemently." "I understand far more than that," Goku replied, divine awareness now fully integrated with his mortal consciousness. "I understand why our worlds converged, why Videl's oracular nature awakened, why you remained hidden until now." Golden energy flowed around him, not in chaotic display but in precisely controlled patterns reflecting cosmic understanding. "And I understand what must happen next." As these words hung in the archive's timeless atmosphere, reality itself seemed to hold its breath, cosmic forces aligning around choices yet unmade, possibilities branching outward from this crucial nexus point. In this moment of perfect awareness, the reawakened creator perceived the pattern complete, and the price that pattern would demand. The true battle for creation was about to begin. Chapter 2 End. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.